So I've decided to try my hand this year at a Gene Payne compost pile. I've got the spot here where I'm going to build the compost pile. I've got my conduit pipe coming out of the house there that I can run my water line down into. And I've got this pile of leaves here already. And I've got some half chipped up wood that I'm going to finish chipping and work into the compost pile. And I've got more half chipped wood out front that I'm going to add into it later. So basically I'll just take the two ends of this roll of packs here and shove them down into that pipe inside of the house over there and plumb that through a couple of valves and stuff so that I can isolate it, plumb it into the intake to my hot water heater so that I've got preheated water coming into the hot water heater. And if it's real successful, I may set up a radiator inside the house or something and run it through there with a pump. Who knows? We'll see what happens. So I'm going to get back to it, and I'll try and pause this and show you again what it looks like once I got the pipe plumbed in and getting started on chopping up these wood chips some more. I just ran them through fast on the job I had, so they didn't get chopped up too fine, but hopefully that'll get cured. I'll cure that and chop them up a little bit finer and see what I can do to make this work. Check with you in a few. Okay, so I'm down under the house now, and I can see both of my PEX tubes coming out of that conduit from underground there. So it ought to be good to go ahead and start building my compost pile on top of them outside. What I'll do is hook up a couple valves to that and run a bypass for it, valve bypass, so that I can bypass it if it freezes, and then hook it up to my water line coming in to feed the water heater. So looks good. And this is what the current situation outside looks like. I'll probably just fill this up with organic matter, plug off the end of that conduit first, and then fill this up with organic matter. And as I fill that hole up, I'll bring some of this up just a little bit and probably make a little column of logs inside and outside of this so that I don't tear it up when I turn this compost pile, which I will a couple times. I may use the excavator for that. I kind of doubt it, but it's going to be a big compost pile. Yeah, it's going to be a big compost pile. So we'll see. Okay, so I think I got the core of my compost pile set up now. It's up about 2 feet high off the ground. Should be able to cover that really easily with about 3 feet of material, 4 feet of material. So this will be right in the middle of the pile, and I'll probably put some fairly dense stuff like these leaves. I'll put right up close to it so that they can kind of conduct the heat and make sure they're wet so they can conduct the heat from the outer portions of the pile a little better, and keep going from here. So I've got the basic core of my pile lined out there. I'm going to go ahead and put some more of this leaf pile on there first. I got the tall branches sticking up to show me the diameter of the coil that's in there. And it's wintering out, so I guess I probably ought to get on with this. I may not bother with chipping all that stuff up real small. I may leave it in fairly big chunks and just push it over here with the excavator and just pile it up. I'll probably use some kind of fence around it to pile it up more vertical. We're going pretty good out here. This is taking about an hour so far, maybe that. So I got the main portion of it done over there, and I'm just working on getting my little pile here behind the unloading area cleaned up here. So I'm going to show you. This is a pretty efficient way of moving a big pile with a little mini axe. Run into it with that bottom blade. Push it up nice and tall. Reach over with a wide bucket. Scoop it up from underneath. Get a bigger pile than that. Just keep on gathering it up. Gather it up nice and tight. Get yourself a nice big pile going like that. And move it around back and forth a little bit to knock the stuff off the edges. And you got yourself a big old bale of limbs you can haul around. I'm gonna probably knock the fence down with this one again. This fence is not liking my habit of moving around way too much stuff in the excavator. You can even squirt a little bit side to side. Don't want to do too much of that because it tends to. There we go. That's back out of the way. Maybe I can make it around the corner. My area for getting in here is just plain too tight. But whatever, we do what we can with what we got, right? Don't miss that. And I'll just continue to take it up on that way and around over to the pile over there. There we go, arriving at the pile right in front of me. I'm going to take this one around this side and set it up here somewhere. Hopefully I don't roll the excavator in this hole here. Oh yeah, come on buddy, come on. Oh, yep, there we go. That's about as far as she's going to go. So I'm trying to get this in as far over that way as I can, which isn't very far. That's alright. That big yellow thing over there, it can move this stuff pretty easy. Knocked over a couple of my sticks, but I still got a pretty good general idea of where that coil is at. So I'm gonna back out of here and go back for another load. Maybe clean up a little bit here while I'm at it. But as you can see, the pile's getting pretty big. Ought to be plenty of insulation in there. And this will be some, maybe it'll preheat my water for my water heater. Keep my little water heater working all right. Got a little bitty water heater in the house. Ain't gonna hurt to preheat the water coming into it a little bit. And I'll just fill in this side of the pile over here where it ain't quite there yet. I'll do that with the next load probably. Yep. Okay, so we've got a pretty good start on our Gene Payne compost pile here. Still got a little bit of stuff left around front. And there's the cutie cat. And, yep, I think it's gonna be a fairly big compost pile. I probably should have done something more around the back here to make it to where I could get these boards and stuff out, but at least they'll keep it away from the house pretty much. So yeah, I'll give you a look at what I got left to put on it and then go do the plumbing. Yeah, so this is what's left of the pile of wood chips, and of course there'll be more leaves. Okay, so here we are in my spider chamber. You might be able to tell. I've finished up hooking up the in and the out pipes from the compost pile that's right out back there. This looks fancy and all, but it's not really. This is just the water line coming in. There's a valve, there's a T here, a valve here going out, a valve here coming in, and a valve here so that I can bypass the whole system whenever I need to. And just shut off these two valves like they are right now, and open this one, and I bypassed the Gene Payne mound outside. That's the connection to the water coming in. And it all ought to be fairly simple from here. Sounds like the water heater might be starting to boil over, so I probably ought to start the water back up. I've got this closed. I want to leave that off for a little while until that pile gets hot to preheat the water. So we'll go ahead and check my jack of all trades plumbing connections here. Jack of all trades, master of doing stuff over again. Don't see any leaks yet. Of course, I got the water just a little bit open up there. I'm going to shut that off. Set everything up so my water's nice and tidy and close and tight. Nice. Let's see, is this one leaking? That's the main one I gotta be concerned about. It's the earliest ones in that I changed around any. And it seems like yes, sir. Indeed, my plumbing has worked. Well, I ought to be getting good at it by now. This whole house was, well, it's obviously kind of old. This is not my creation. But some of it is. It's been nice to put in new floors and just a little. I just put in a little bitty water heater. I figure I'm going to run a couple of them in series when I need to get enough hot water to fill that bathtub up. I'm kind of proud of my gray water system here, since Colorado code allows you to put gray water into the restroom, or it allows you to put gray water into the garden. I've run both the bathtub and the sink down into this drain here. The sink and the bathtub run into this drain. And that comes right down here to just this single shutoff, which will allow me to run that water from there out into the garden whenever I get all that set up next year. That'll probably actually involve a pump, because I don't really have any garden space that's a lot lower than what the bottom of the bathtub is inside the house. So we'll see about that. I can also dig out more of it, but all I have to do is turn this valve right here, and I can turn that gray water system on or off. And then of course the kitchen sink water goes down and through to a vent there and goes into the sewer, which catches the toilet water. Pretty simple setup. So yeah, and that's my Gene Payne compost pile. We'll let you know in a month or two what happens with it, and hope you enjoyed. You'll have a good day.